Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Uncovering the Hidden Agendas, a video series dedicated to showing you all how Satan has put his hand of influence on just about every aspect of society. So today is part 2 of my talk on Freemasonry. So back in episode 5, I dove into what Freemasonry is, what Freemasons believe, and why Christians should not become Freemasons or have anything to do with Freemasons at all. So today I'm going to dive more into how Freemasons have influenced society, put their imprint on society right under our noses, hiding their symbols and ideals and beliefs in plain sight without us even knowing it. So through this video, I hope to really expose what's going on behind the scenes. So in case you missed episode 5 or just need a refresher on what Freemasonry is, here is Britannica.com's definition. Freemasonry, the teachings and practices of the fraternal men-only order of free and accepted Masons, the largest worldwide secret society, an oath-bound society often devoted to fellowship, moral discipline, and mutual assistance that conceals at least some of its rituals, customs, or activities from the public. So, why are they in secret? What do they have to hide? Did Jesus have anything to hide? No, he did not. John 18:20, I've spoken openly to the world, Jesus replied. I always taught in synagogues or at the temple, where all the Jews come together. I said nothing in secret. So, Jesus has nothing to hide. His salvation is free and open to all. So, what are the Freemasons hiding? If they're so good, what is there to hide? If they're so bad, as I think we'll see today, then that explains everything. So believe it or not, Freemasonry has swept our nation more than you might realize. As you see from this map, majority of the states have at least 20,000 members of some Masonic lodge. So Freemasonry is quite a big influence on our country. Even if you go to Washington, D.C., House of the Temple, a Masonic temple 1 mile away from the White House. Why is it so close? What does that tell us? What does that not tell us? Almost half of our country's presidents have confirmed ties to Freemasonry, either being, a confirmed member or expressing interest in joining a lodge or starting at the apprentice but then dropping out. Almost half are tied to this secret society. And as I said, many of their symbols have influenced our society in more ways than you might realize. So here's one of their more common symbols, a square and compass with a G right in the middle. So you see a lot of G in society. The former developmental league of the NBA is now the NBA G League, using Gatorade as a disguise. Green Bay Packers, Georgia Bulldogs, both have a G in their logo. G Unit, the rap group, and of course Google, one of their newer logos features a G. And if you take out the G and just take the square and compass, you see that all over as well. The Acura and Safari logos both have what looks like a compass. Also have A. Kurtz Clothing. Their logo looks like a square and compass. And Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal, a cartoon that also features a play on this symbol. Adult Swim even took part in the action, saying they've been secret partners with Freemasonry for 162,000 years. Don't tell. So, double whammy here. First of all, being connected to Freemasonry, and second of all, 162,000 years. That's based on evolutionary belief. There is belief that the first evidence of human species, or as they call it, Homo sapiens, traces back 162,000 years. So, do Freemasons have some connection to evolution? Another symbol used by the Freemasons, actually goes back to the Knights Templar, which were the predecessor of Freemasons, but this has been hidden in society as well. The Exxon logo, Oreos, Marilyn Manson uses it in his decal. The coat of arms for Slovakia and their flag also has it. clothing brand Dockers features what looks like an anchor, right? This is also a Masonic symbol, a symbol of hope. And the hidden hand gesture. You see many political figures and otherwise influential figures flashing this hand sign. What does it mean? The hidden hand gesture is a signal to other Freemasons that the individual is part of the secret brotherhood. It is symbolic of the covert nature of the Masons' actions. So again, what do they have to hide? Not putting their hand in their coat because, their hand's tired or they're trying to scratch an itch. It's a Freemason symbol. And it's not just political figures that have used this symbol. Oh, there's another, Franklin Pierce. Also, Red Fox is a notable Freemason. In the show Sanford and Son, the old sitcom from back in the day, his name on the show was Fred G. Sanford. And if you've seen the show, the G was never the same. Like in one episode, he said, "My name's Fred G. Sanford, and the G is for going to heaven." Like, he always changed the G. It was never the same. And that's symbolic because, going back to the G in the square and compass, no one knows what it means. Even Freemasons debate about what it means. You also see two of the Beatles flashing this hand gesture. Ashton Kutcher, Prince Harry with Meghan Markle also flashing this symbol, and Vicente Epmaran, a military official, also flashing this hand gesture. Another thing to note about Freemasonry is their use of colors. One distinction between Masonic lodges is the ritual used in the degrees themselves. Blue lodges are based on the rituals as created by the York Rite body of Freemasonry. The other style is called red lodges. This is based on the rituals of the Scottish Rite. So in other words, red and blue represent the two lodges, the two systems of Freemasonry. So is it any wonder that we see so much red and blue symbolism, red and blue thematic material in our society? You see it a lot in gas and oil company logos, right? Several featured here. You also see it in food and drink brands. You see it in sports, quite prominent. The logos of the leagues themselves, but also within each sport, conference against conference, red versus blue, aka Red Lodge versus Blue Lodge. You see it in movie posters, commercials and advertisements, and many other instances. Here's another Masonic symbol that you may not be too familiar with, but has influenced one of the top, most popular companies in our world today. Tubal-Cain. Tubal-Cain is regarded as the first blacksmith. He's mentioned in Genesis 4:22. Because of Tubal-Cain's significant contributions to the science of craftwork, Mackey believes he can be looked upon as a Masonic ancestor. So therefore, this symbol can be found a lot within Masonic lodges. But look closely at this symbol. What does it look like? Kind of looks like the shape of an F, right? What popular logo has an F? Facebook. And they're both blue. How about that? But wait, there's more. There's another big company that uses Masonic symbolism. The apron is the first gift a Mason receives, and the candidate is told that it is an emblem of innocence and the badge of a Mason, right? So you see several Freemasons wearing their aprons here, but where do we see this apron in society? The logo for Gmail. See, they've disguised it to make it look like an envelope, right? But you can't deny the resemblance between that and a Masonic apron. In terms of deities, Great Architect of the Universe, GAOTU, is a neutral term used for the deity that Freemasons worship, therefore representative of all gods in all religions. So whether you worship the God of Heaven, Buddha, Vishnu, Muhammad, whoever it is. They want whoever you worship to be represented neutrally as Great Architect, JOTU. In other words, we don't want to offend anyone. We want to be accepting of everyone. But that's kind of compromising, isn't it? Kind of reminds me of that scripture about being unequally yoked. 2 Corinthians 6:14 and 15. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? What harmony is there between Christ and Belial? Or what does a believer have in common with an unbeliever? Nothing. So yeah, again, I strongly discourage anyone watching this video of becoming a Freemason. But in the case that you were, and you in your mind were worshiping God, person right next to you could be worshiping Buddha, or worst case scenario, they could be worshiping Satan, right? That's not the place for a Christian to be. So even this deity figure has been perpetrated in society. Superman comic. May the great architect of the universe protect you on your journey. There's even a stock called GAOTU. And while we're on the subject, don't you think it's strange, or have you noticed that a lot of celebrities avoid saying God's name? Like, they might not always come out and say great architect, but they're just using a neutral term. They might be a Freemason. So here's one example that makes me suspicious. Let's rewind back to 2016. The Cleveland Cavaliers have just won the NBA championship, and LeBron James is being interviewed. Check out what he says.
As soon as that buzzer sounded, your emotions let loose. Can you describe what you're feeling right now?
I set out a goal 2 years when I came back to bring a championship to this city. I gave everything that I had. I poured my heart, my blood, my sweat, my tears to this game, and against all odds, I don't know why we want to take the hardest road. I don't know why the man above gives me the hardest road, but it's nothing the man above don't put you in situations that you can't handle. And I just kept that same positive attitude, like, instead of saying, why me, they're saying this is what he want me to do. And Cleveland, this is for you. Oh.
The man above, huh? So it's like going back to what I just said. We assume that he's saying God. Who knows who he's really talking about? It might not be God. Think of another example. I was watching a B.B. King special a few weeks ago, and to end the show, they sang "When the Saints Go Marching In," and when they got to "Oh Lord, I want to be in that number," they left out the word Lord. They just said, "Oh, I want to be in that number." What did they have to hide? Why did they omit that word? The most important word of the song, as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, moving on to some other ways that Freemasonry has influenced society. Believe it or not, they've even snuck their way into the church. Episcopalians have something called wardens, officers of a parish, generally ranked senior and junior, serving as lay leaders of the congregation, principal liaison between the parish and the rector, upkeep of parish buildings and grounds. But Freemasonry also has certain positions and levels of duty as well, and they also have something called senior warden and junior warden. In the Methodist Church, they have a position called church stewards, looking after local preachers who are visiting their church, making sure the offering is taken and announcements are made, fostering unity. Freemasonry also has a position called stewards with similar duties. Even college graduations have ties to Freemasonry, more than you might realize. One thing you usually see when the ceremony starts is the mace. The mace has roots in the Roman Empire. In Masonry, it symbolizes the independence of the lodge outside influence and is a mark of the authority of the master inside his lodge. In medieval tradition, the mace was carried in front of royalty by the sergeant-at-arms in processions. If someone threatened the security of the sovereign, the sergeant-at-arms would step in and clobber them with his mace. Similarly, in Masonry, it is a sign of corporeal punishment to those who dared question the authority of the master inside the lodge. So as I said, this is usually carried in the opening ceremony processional. It has ties to Freemasonry. What else has ties? The mortarboard, or the cap. The mortarboard hat originated in the Middle Age stonemason apprenticeship schools of Europe. This old tradition occurred when the stonemason apprentice graduated to the degree level of Master Mason, the third degree of the Blue Lodge of Freemasonry. What else? The robe. The robe is part of a Royal Arch Mason's clothing. The 1766 rules of the Excellent Grand and Royal Chapter say that the Excellent Grand Principals, another school term, will wear proper robes, caps, jewels, but no apron. All the companions wear aprons unless they are authorized to wear robes. And at least one more. When you walk across the stage, of course, you are handed a diploma signifying the completion of your degree. There are 3 degree levels in university: bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. There are also 3 degree levels in the Blue Lodge of Freemasonry: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. And funny how master mason and master's degree have the same word. So with all that in mind, the hat, the mace, degrees, the robe, is it any wonder that it's called commencement? With all of these Masonic ideals, ties, symbols, is commencement subtly another word for, initiation, right? Why use all of these things? There's a deeper agenda. Commencement, as if to say, let your new life as a Freemason, whether you know it or not, commence. I also want to talk about a couple of musical examples. Rick Ross, back in 2018, released a song called Freemason. Now, it's 2 words. There's a space in between, so it sounds like he's begging for, somebody to free Mason from jail or prison. But if you look at the lyrics, there is no mention of anyone named Mason. So could it be that this song is talking about Freemasonry and that Rick Ross himself is a Freemason? Probably so, because the song is full of Masonic symbolism. So let's dig into some of the lyrics. I go to the grave before I be a beep beep. So in other words, this is a secret society. You have an oath to not reveal any secrets, any rituals about the society. So he's saying, I'd rather die than reveal anything that I'm not supposed to tell. Better behave, you dealing with some rich. Rich, in my eyes, is a synonym for elite, top of the pyramid. Those looking down on the lower class. And lost symbols speak in cryptic codes. If you isolate that word cryptic, it has a tie to cryptic masonry, the second part of the York Rite system of Masonic degrees. Ancient wisdom, valuable like gifts of gold. If you look at the 3 pillars of Freemasonry: strength, beauty, and wisdom. And of course, a lot of ancient history involved in that wisdom. I embark on life, my path is all math. As I hinted at earlier, geometry is regarded as sacred and as the foundation of Freemasonry, and it is rumored to be what the Masonic G stands for. I'm iconic in the field like Solomon's seal. So for this one, you got to dig all the way into the roots of Freemasonry. King Solomon is looked up to in Freemasonry because they believe that Freemasonry existed in Bible times. The stonemasons who built the temple were organized into lodges, and King Solomon supposedly was one of multiple grand masters over these lodges. So King Solomon is a high figure in Freemasonry, and a lot of Masonic temples are modeled after the temple that he built. And two more lines I want to point out. Rumors of Lucifer, I don't know who to trust. I'm on my third six, but a devil I'm not. So for a long time, Freemasonry has been accused of devil worship, satanic rituals, demonic rituals, and all these things. Another example I want to point out in music is Jay-Z and his Blueprint series. In 2001, he released an album called Jay-Z The Blueprint. The following year, he released Jay-Z The Blueprint 2, The Gift and the Curse. And then in 2009, he released Jay-Z The Blueprint 3. And you see right here on the album cover, he has 3 horizontal stripes. What are the significance of those stripes? Does it have something to do with Freemasonry? You better believe it. Here's a quote from Deeper Insights into the Illuminati Formula, a book by Fritz Springmeier. An Illuminati system can easily have 6 different languages used as programming codes. The foreign language codes will be for small parts of a system only. Special artificial languages are also employed, as well as sign language. The Illuminati employs signs when they teach some of their slaves with pickup sticks. The system of secret symbols is a series of crosses and horizontal and vertical marks. These marks can be drawn on anything and consist of up to 7 lines. They are believed to be used in regards to ritual dates and ceremonies. These secret signs resemble similar secret symbols used by the Romani tribe of gypsies. The masters of mind-controlled slaves also use a technique where one signal or code will carry several messages simultaneously. So that's the symbolism of the lines. How about the symbolism of the number 3? What does the number 3 indicate in Freemasonry? Quite a few things. As I said before, 3 levels achieved in Freemasonry: apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. The pagan trinity of ancient Egypt consists of the father Osiris, the mother Iris, and the son Horus. The 3 great lights of Masonry consist of the holy writings, the square, and the compass. And there are 3 principal officers in each lodge: the worshipful master, junior wardens, and senior wardens. So for Jay-Z to have 3 horizontal stripes on the 3rd album of this Blueprint series, I think that signifies the 3 levels, right? Blueprint 1, Blueprint 2, Blueprint 3. Apprentice, fellow craft, master mason. The 3rd level, 3 lines. Several denominations such as the Orthodox Presbyterian Church, the Reformed Presbyterian Church, the Christian Reformed Church, and the Lutheran Church have all officially declared Freemasonry as completely incompatible with Christianity. And you better believe it, there are several things Freemasons believe that are not in line with what the Bible teaches. Here are a few examples. Salvation can be gained by man's good works. It's not free, it doesn't come from God. We have to work for it. As I said before, Masonry teaches that it's G-A-O-T-U, great architect of the universe, whom Masonry believes is the true God of the universe, is representative of all gods and all religions. So even though it may be God for you, it might be Buddha for someone else, it might be Vishnu for someone else, it might be Satan for someone else. Masonry makes Christians take a universalist approach in their prayers, demanding a generic name be used so as not to offend non-believers who are Masonic brothers. So again, not a good idea for a Christian to be a Freemason. It's like Jesus said in Matthew, whoever acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. So if Freemasonry is stopping you from doing that, that's a compromise to your faith. Just one more thing about their prayers. Instead of Amen, Masonic lodges end their prayers with So mote it be. But these same 4 words are used at the end of Wiccan and pagan spells and prayers. And these same 4 words were also used by occultist Aleister Crowley in his writings. So even though they might claim to be a Christian organization, embracing of Christians, open to Christians, they're not Christian. So going back to Matthew again, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew 10:16. So many Masonic lodges in our country, in our nation, and in our world, and many instances, as we saw in this video, of their symbols, their ideals being perpetrated and in some ways even forced upon us in society without us even realizing it. So the phrase wolf in sheep's clothing definitely comes into play here. There's a reason this organization is secret, but at the same time hiding their symbolism in our faces. So stand up for Christ. Be careful about what you consume, what you buy, what you represent, because there could be a deeper motive, a deeper agenda. So with that being said, I'll wrap it up for this video. Hope to see you all in the next one. Be vigilant, my friends.